Right, hello, welcome. And for this video, we are going to implement the record value type in Type+. In the last Just Code video, we have worked on the function overload issues in the Just Web, and in that video, I find that I want to get the value type, the type of the value inside a record, and it turns out there's no such type supplied by TypeScript. Right, so I have to create a simple type to get that value, and that's something that would be useful to share. So that's why in that video I mentioned I want to do that, create this record value type in Type+ and share it out. So that's what we are going to do today, and without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so here what we have is already the Type+ project. So what I'm going to do first is just create a test. Right, so what we want to create is this record value t. Well, let's call it r as for record. So we will want to say, well, whatever gets the value type from record. Let's say start with something simple, any string. Right, so we want to have the type result, let's call it r, equals to record value, and record value, and then a record and the string. Right, so with that we want to get to is type equals to is a string, and then the r. Right, that's what we want. Right, so we can easily do that by create record. This we want to make sure that it is and record. What's in there doesn't really matter. Right, and then here we want to get the type. So for the simplicity, right, so you can see that in the last video, that's what it works. Well, yeah, just index with something, right? This can be a string, can be a number, it doesn't, quote unquote, doesn't really matter. So that's what we have in the last video, right? And again, in the last video, it's not focused on this. We focus on the other thing, the problem we try to solve about the function overload. So the question is, would this work for all other cases, right? So let's see. Let's get the value type from record, let's say number, right? Let's say t, right? To make it more generic. Although in the test it's the same, and doesn't really matter, and we know this is simple enough, right? So it is a number. So of course that will work, but then the question is, if I do that, you can see that this does not, right? Because the issue is now the record is not just any nor string, it's something else. And as you might know, in the record definition, the key is extended key of any, which are string, number, or symbol. So doing this won't work. It can work for only one kind of it, and then what else can you do, right? You can type it over here or not. That doesn't really make sense. So to solve this problem, what we need to do is do type inference. So we need to extend and then record infer k, and then let's see infer t, and then we will say r of k. Well, actually in this case we can just say t, right? And then if not, it's never, because we already say that it will always be a record. It extends from a record. So when we do the inference like this, it will never hit here. Never will not, and will never reach. So you can see that now this work. Of course, the same thing will work for symbol, but just for completeness, we can do that. All right, so symbol, and you can see that now this works just fine, right? And that's it. All right, so the question is over here. Now there is an warning from ESLint. Right, so on this we will want to fix it, right? Let's say if I do unknown, that wouldn't work, because the unknown, it was saying doesn't certify the type, but we can do any, right? Any is fine, and in this case this worked perfectly because we don't really use the type k at all, right? We don't care about what this is really. So that seems very simple, but we want to do some additional checks, right? Works with, how about intersect union type, then union type. So we always want to check that, right? So record value, and then I want, in this case, I actually, let's create something, right? A is a number, and then no, this is a let's do a union. First, B is a string, right? So with that, I want to get number or string, and it works, right? So that's great. So it's spread with union correctly, as it should, because we are just inferring, right? So what I'm doing here is kind of oversaturate, you know, the implementation with test, right? Interest in the intersect type. I can talk and type at the same time. So when I do an all case, you know, so this is still, you know, this works just fine, right? So that's it. And so this is the type that we want, and so for implementation we just move it to this record, and then we want to import it, and yeah, so this will work. So this we're already getting at the top level, so you can see that this is in the TS folder, objects and record. So I'm going one level up, which is the main export of the project. So that's all nice. So that's it. And the last thing I need to do for this is just adding some good documentation and export it. So I hope that this type would be useful to you, and I will be release it in about 10 minutes or so, and hope you learn something and hope you enjoy this session. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye.